if you have experience in your home country as a chef, but you don't have any of the relevant qualifications, is it necessary to study that occupation in Australia? Is a really common question that comes up. Now, there's really two things you can do here. One is you can try and get a full skills assessment as a chef without the relevant qualifications. What that pathway entails is just examining your work experience. But if sometimes people are not able to get together the work experience documents that are needed, so sometimes it's better that you do study the qualification here in Australia. What's the advantage of studying in Australia? Well, basically, once you complete your studies, you now are able to get a graduate visa. You're able to spend time gaining work experience here in Australia. And you now even have a really strong pathway towards an independent skilled visa or even an employer sponsored visa, which are two visas which can lead you to permanent residency. So firstly, two questions. Do I have the relevant work experience necessary to get a full skills assessment? And the second question is, can I prove that I have the relevant work experience without the studies? Those are two things to keep in mind before you make your decision on whether or not you study in Australia. So having experience as a chef in your country of origin does count towards a full skills assessment. But what these entities, so we're talking about skills assessment bodies, what they're looking for is a certain number of years of work experience in order to then validate your skills assessment. So these entities may be looking for 5 or 6 years if you want to validate your skills assessment in Australia. Or if you do have the qualification, they may be looking for less time. So it could be 3 years, for example. Just keep in mind that your work experience in your country of origin is relevant. But the second question is my work experience and can I prove that I have worked in that occupation? So can I provide pay slips? Can I provide employment contracts? Can I get a letter from my employer? Because this is how these skills assessment bodies prove that you actually have done the work that you're claiming to do. So it's really important that you make sure that you do have evidence of your work experience in order to apply for the full skills assessment. As a chef, we actually have one principal skills assessment organisation called the TRA, or the Trades Recognition Australia, but we also have other skills assessment bodies. And the reason we have other skills assessment bodies is because depending on what visa you're going for, will then determine which skills assessment you need to get. So are you outside of Australia or are you inside of Australia? Are you going for an independent skilled visa? Are you going for an employer sponsored visa? There's different kinds of skills assessments for these visas. It's really important that you make sure that you get the right one. There's a temporary employer sponsored visa that requires a specific skills assessment. So make sure that you're getting the right skills assessment for the occupation of chef is really important, because basically, if you get the wrong one, it could jeopardize your application for the visa that you're going for at the time. So it's TRA, which is the beginning. We start from TRA, and from TRA, we can then determine which skills assessments are we getting. So are there any others? Are there, for example, does VetAssess provide the relevant skills assessment that I need starting from TRA? So start at TRA, and from there, you can definitely get all your answers.